My name is Jared Wallace, and today I'm going to be giving you a talk about sudden infant death syndrome. I've never considered the threat and the risk of sudden infant death syndrome, as I'm a 21-year-old single airman with no children, and I've been fortunate enough never to have experienced any deaths in my immediate family, and there have been no loss of infant children in my extended family, as far as my knowledge. For this I'm grateful, but my heart does go out to all those parents who have experienced this tragedy of losing their newborn or infant child, only to find out that there is no medical explanation as to why they lost the child. This horrible misfortune is something that no one should ever have to experience. In this discussion, I will provide the definition of SIDS. I will present a few examples, a few modern theories as to what causes SIDS, and I will give specific examples of studies and practices that can be followed to reduce the risk of falling victim to this awful experience. Now, SIDS, in simple terms, is the explanation for infants newborn to 1-year-old dying in the middle of the night for seemingly no reason. Even after examining the body of an infant and performing an autopsy, the cause of death cannot be determined. Basically, SIDS is the answer that has been established through the exclusion of known or common causes of death. There are a few theories as to what does cause this, but it's still inexplicable what exactly kills the infant. Even throughout history, there have been documentation of infants dying inexplicably in the night. It was called by different names, such as overlaying in the Bible. And during the Middle Ages, there were many infants killed, and as there were many fatal diseases during that time, such as bubonic plague and smallpox, and infants were considered at higher risk, naturally, just for falling victim to those diseases. They were sometimes falsely assumed to have died as a result of these diseases. Proposed causes of SIDS include vaccines at an early age can increase the risk. Mattress bugs have been linked to SIDS cases. A lack of serotonin produced in the brain of the child. Also, the brainstem of the child being crushed as a result of the position of the sleep. Toxic gases from fungi growing wherever the child sleeps. Excessive heat and smothering clothing. And even genetics has been offered as a potential cause of SIDS. If one infant in a set of twins dies, the other is at high risk of dying as well. Sex has been linked to SIDS, showing males are at higher risk than females. Studies have also shown that SIDS increases prenatally if the mother uses drugs like nicotine and cocaine, as well as harder drugs. This amplifies the risk. Teen mothers are also at greater risk for having a baby fall victim to SIDS. Also, the risk is multiplied whenever she has more babies at that teenage. Child abuse has also been speculated as a potential cause, and hopefully this is not the case, and it's not a valid or a widely accepted theory, as it is the case for some 40,000 infant deaths per year. There are also postnatal precautions that you can take to reduce the risk of SIDS. Studies have shown over the past 50 years that a drastic decline in the number of SIDS-related deaths are due to infants sleeping on their backs, or they've been linked to infants sleeping on their backs instead of their stomachs. Also, using firm mattresses instead of soft beds full of comforters and pillows, as these can impede the breathing of the child, impede oxygen flow. Also, keeping the child in the crib as in the same room as the parents or the caregivers have also been shown to be effective, because the child is naturally safer with the caregiver. However, the child shouldn't be kept in the same bed, because this increases the risk of smothering. Putting too much clothing also can increase a baby's temperature and to an unsafe level. Smoking around the child is never a good idea, but infants are especially it's especially hazardous to smoke around infants. The risk of can be reduced by breast milk. Breast milk shows continually positive evidence of health benefits for infants and babies, whereas contact with respiratory infection or those who have infections of the respiratory type also increase the risk. Studies have shown that pacifiers also have health benefits. There are many precautions, but the most important thing to do is check on the child continuously during the night and make sure that they're breathing constantly. Many times, infants have been checked on and assumed to have been sleeping, but found only hours later to have been deceased for half the night. Also, if the child has any problems breathing, the doctor or physicist, family physicist, should be notified immediately. In conclusion, many organizations such as the Back to Sleep Foundation and the American SIDS Institute have helped decrease the number of SIDS-related deaths by a substantial 50% in the last 10 years. And this is shown by the graph here. Spreading the information and study results have saved countless lives and much heartache and grief. Thanks to the efforts of many, through experimenting and documenting these statistics, we now have more information than ever. Only by continually spreading this information can we ensure future generation and less risk of this horrible scourge. We should all do our part and help share this information with others so that maybe one day we can finally be rid of sudden infant death syndrome. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you to my audience for being here. Are there any questions?
No, that was good.
That was great. Yeah, good. Thank you, Visual Aid.